The courage to jump is a really interesting thing for me to think about. It's the cousin to what I was just talking about with fear. I remember going to Jamaica with my friend Joe Minakawa, who I'm looking at right now. Much to the chagrin of my mother, if she ever knew this, I remember us standing on top of a cliff in Jamaica, and we needed to jump, because that's what the fuck we were doing. I just remember standing over it and being fascinated by how scary that jump looked. But as I literally jumped off, landed, came back up, the thing I was most fascinated by was what the fuck went through my head in the moment that triggered me from fuck this, I'm gonna talk myself out of this like always, to I'm gonna jump, right? And it was based on courage. But what you say to yourself when you jump in real life or metaphorically is a very fascinating thing. The thing I say with humility is there's a sheer lack of collective courage at the conference right now. When I look at so many of you, it's just so obvious to me how capable so many of you are to deal with the ramifications. It connects the two characters. So many of you need to jump, and you're scared of what will go wrong without realizing what will go wrong will just require adaptability for you to go back. The fear of going backwards after you jumped is something that I am so fascinated by, as if the people in the crowd judging your misstep have anything to actually do with your life. So many of you are crippled to jump into the courage because you're scared that if you lose, you have to go backwards, when in reality, you're already backwards. Do you understand? Bro, you're already fucking backwards. You're already stuck. You want it, and yet you can't jump, and courage should be applauded. Courage needs to be understood, and courage's relationship with adaptability is a very big deal. I promise you, you will never, I promise you, you will never regret your acts of courage, ever. When you go and talk, and so many of you know my spiel here, you know how much I love hanging out with the OGs. When you talk to the people that have actually lived it, their regrets are never their moments of jumping. Their regrets are always the moments they didn't jump. This week I've had the luxury of hanging out with the OGs. Some of them bang Newports like a fucking gangster. That's you. And I respect it, fuck. But when I tell you what they focus on and what they understand and what they see, there's so much power in youth. But the saying of youth is wasted on the young is very true. Experience is incredibly important, going through the reps. And I just implore all of you, if you leave with any part of this keynote, please take a little courage away from this week and do something. Do something next week that you've been scared to do. Please, 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 please consider to cash in on your passion. Crush It, my first public business thing outside of wine, the subtitle was How to Cash In on Your Passion. I wrote it in 2008, it came out in 2009. I stand here 16 years later as convicted about passion as I was as that young man. Passion is always the bet. Passion is always the right thing to run through a wall for. If you team it up with practicality, it gets really good. If you don't, you usually have to go call in the adaptable alien and go back to a job. This is an incredibly important framework, but so many of you love so many different things, so many different interests. And right now we live in a social media world. I don't know if you've heard about social media marketing, but I'm into it. It's free. It's free. You post content and it gets distribution and it's free. Of course you can pay someone to make content, I get it, but you can do it for free. And not making content on social media around your passion, your opinions about it, your ideas about it, debating about it, If you're into cooking, cooking. If you're into praying, praying. If you're into cards, like not leaning into putting out content that costs you nothing on this current social media world that will go away. One day, the cell phone will look like the pager, like the yellow pages, like the radio. And we are not guaranteed that the advertising platforms of the next medium will be free. The regret that many of you have in the next decade or two for not going all in when social media was free will be very high. The time in your life that so many of you in this audience are in right now is such an opportunity. Please lean into your passion. Please try. Just try. Because fear is what is holding everyone back. Just try. Don't worry about people making fun of you. Don't worry about people judging you. All the best shit that has ever happened in the world, that changed the world, was laughed at by the people that didn't understand it. They always laugh, and then they marvel. Got it? The level of practicality that runs through my body is extraordinary. There is no delusional dinosaur in VFriends. But after talking for the last 3 days, I might have to draw that shit. Where there is confusion in the subtleties of this message, this mission, this hopes and dreams that I have for you is, yes, like I said earlier, I'd love for you to quit your toxic job. Yes, I'd love for you to do X, Y, and Z. But some of the shit that I heard in line that made absolutely no sense. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, well, tell me about your stability. They're like, I got like a week's worth of runway. I'm like, you're fucking out of your mind. They're like, I'm gonna build an AR company selling Mars tokens, but I've got a week's worth of runway. I'm like, who the fuck are you? It's incredibly cool to be courageous. But when I saw my dad's disappointed face looking at my mom when I just told the Cliff story, what he doesn't realize was it was very practical. There was nothing dangerous about it. It was just scary. And that is an incredibly important thing to understand. The things that so many of you fear, the thing that so many of you don't understand, the thing that I see people get it wrong is so many people are scared of things that are not scary and then are completely petrified of things that they should be scared of, and instead of being petrified of it, they just jump because they think it's okay. It's called the hippo shark theory. All of you are scared of sharks. Not all of you, but you know what I mean. Meanwhile, hippos kill way more fucking people a year than sharks. But because we had fucking hungry hippos, we think they're fucking cute. Hippos are fucking dangerous. But Jaws came out, scared us, and now we're scared. That's what I see in a lot of you in your career decisions. There's things that you're scared of that are not that scary because you can adapt and just go back if it didn't work out. And then there's things that you are looking to do that have no practicality in them. They have no shot. And that is a very important thing for all of you to understand. Do not allow your passions to make you delusional. Practicality is important. There are bills to be paid. I believe that many people who are unhappy can have smaller bills, can lead into other things that can bring it down. But I ask you and I beg you and I implore you to get more practical with some of your decisions. This is why, and I don't have it up here, but this is why there's two patient characters. Patient pig and patient panda allow you to be practical. If you're willing to eat shit for one more year, then you can actually maybe be practical and go after your dream. Understood?